Good afternoon and welcome back to Withrow Urban Homestead. Today is February 21st and it's time to winter sow kale. Here in north central Maryland, our last frost date tends to be around April 30th. We're 10 weeks before our last frost. February is the perfect time to winter sow cool weather vegetables and flowers. Normally, I start kale seeds down in the basement in the warm furnace room under lights. I'm going to start those 6 to 8 weeks before our last frost. But this year, my husband Dale is going to have a liver transplant. So I don't know if I'm going to be home to take care of my seedlings. I thought, wow, perfect time to do winter sowing because they're going to take care of themselves. You can also direct sow kale seeds straight into the garden 1 to 2 weeks before your last frost. But here in my small garden, I tend to sheet mulch with cardboard in the fall or spring. It helps block weeds. I'm able to do more gardening that way with my arthritis. Whoa, wind's knocking over the camera. So direct sowing is a challenge for me. I prefer to use transplants. Kale prefers to germinate at temperatures of 65 to 70 degrees. Right now it feels like 12 degrees. That's not so bad in the sun. It's 22 degrees, so how will my kale seeds germinate in the cold? When we close up this jug and tape it shut, it acts like a mini greenhouse. When it gets the right temperature inside, the seeds will germinate. Can you see our jugs back there? Lettuce, onions, and red cabbage. Inside the jugs, I have one jug with a thermometer. It tends to be 20 degrees warmer than the outside air. In the basement under lights, these seeds tend to germinate in 5 to 12 days. You're going to actually read a variety of numbers, 7 to 14 days, but in general, they're going to germinate a week to 2 weeks. Here outside, I don't know how long they're going to take. We're going to put these out, and at that time, we'll see if our onion seeds have germinated. You can just sprinkle your seeds on top and go back later and thin. Today I'm grouping mine in sets of 3 seeds, and later I'll go back and trim those 3 down to 1 seedling. Here, my growing zone is 6B to 7A, somewhere between there. But more importantly than growing zones is your last frost date and your first frost date. Those are more important for growing your annuals. Growing zones are important for your perennials, your plants that survive year round. That tells you what plants will survive your winter. In my garden, that's things like strawberries, blackberries, raspberries, and blueberries. If you follow me, you know I love heirloom seeds. And this is heirloom red Russian kale. It's the one with the big jaggedy leaves that have the purple tinge around the edges, that means I can save these seeds. And then next time I grow them, they'll grow the exact same plant. I bought these seeds from Baker Creek, also known online as Rare Seeds. I've never saved kale seeds. They do require 2 growing seasons, meaning if you grow them in the spring and you leave them summer and throughout the cold winter, then the next spring they're going to start making seeds. Or you can start them in the fall, leave them through the cold winter, and then the next spring they're going to start developing seeds. Kale does need dark to germinate, but don't drown the seeds because they're so tiny. So let's sprinkle some soil on top and pat it down. I don't plan to water this because it's so cold out here. This soil is already wet. Now let's close it up and tape it shut. And we're just going to leave it that way until the seeds germinate, and when it's time near planting, we'll open it up. But for now, it just stays shut. I'm using Gorilla Duct tape because it's stickier than the average silver tape. Hang on, let me show you. You can use this, but it's less sticky. I already had this tape. I didn't buy it specifically for this purpose. Now remember, you need drainage holes in the bottom, and you need to take the top off. You want to allow moisture in, like rain and snow, and later, heat to escape. And be sure to write the name on your container. I recommend using a garden marker. They won't fade in the sun. A Sharpie will fade. Four to 6 weeks before my last frost, I'm going to plant these out into the garden. Here in North Central Maryland, that's mid-March to early April. A week before that, I'm going to start opening them up to harden them off. An hour or two the first day, then close it up. 2 to 3 hours the second day, then close it up until they're used to the wind, the sun, and the temperature. So it's 22 degrees right now, and I just looked in the jug with the thermometer, and it's 40 degrees. That's how they act like a mini greenhouse, and that's in the shade. Come back and check the progress. Oh, we forgot to check the onions, see if they germinated. Come on. Not yet. Thank you for visiting Withrow Urban Homestead. See you later. Bye-bye.